Well, guys, it is official. Yesterday, we had the big, beautiful bill signed into law, but yet the market's pretty quiet. There's not a whole lot going on the weekend. That's the only thing that sucks about these 3-day weekends is there isn't really much to write home about. But I want to show you guys just a few things going on in the market. I want to highlight a few Cardano development things. And I also want to talk about the upcoming crypto week that has been dubbed by the US House. We need to talk about all that and more in this video. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, the bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So we've actually started a little bit of a green day today, but it's a pretty quiet one. Not a lot of volatility. Like I talked about yesterday, wouldn't be surprised by volume in the market dropping to somewhere between 60 to $80 billion in daily trading volume. That's about right where we're at. $88 billion over the last 24 hours. And you guys can see the little bit of spike that we got right at about the time the big, beautiful bill was signed into law. So this took place just yesterday, right at about 5 o'clock or so. And we did have an actual little bit of a market pump. ADA saw some green, kind of chopped around. We got a little bit of a pump overnight, actually got up around mid 58 cent range or so, but we're back down to the mid 57s, just kind of putzing around, waiting. BTC right now doing a little bit of a retest on its trend here. So we're in a spot of, we'll call it comfort. I actually like being in comfortable spots, guys. That's where we want to be. A little bit of a retest on the total market cap of crypto, testing that 20-day moving average. If this keeps holding, we're going to be in pretty good spot, especially as we get into the week of the 15th. I'll talk about that more here in just a moment because that has actually been dubbed Crypto Week. But I do want to talk about just a few things going on with Cardano. We're seeing some pretty significant developments. So this is actually from Sentiment a few days ago. And what it said is Ethereum and Cardano are both thriving on a nice rebound day for crypto. Obviously, this is when the market was pumping. The two top cap assets have been consistent leaders in development activity, where the ETH team is currently number 13 and the ADA team is number 4 in notable GitHub events. And we have seen pretty big booms in development for Cardano over time. For example, Tap Tools posted this: wild how far Cardano has come. This used to be the whole ecosystem and it was very, very small. Guys, this is what our ecosystem looks like now. It is huge. This is basically infrastructure. This doesn't include all projects within Cardano, but you can see how much Cardano has in fact grown out during this time. And we obviously can talk about, the blockchain developments itself that have brought us to this point, but we're in a pretty good spot heading into a time where we're prepping for adoption. I've talked about this many times before that, we're not going to see big booming DeFi adoption until later on in the market cycle. That usually comes with the masses. It usually comes when you start to see these big DeFi shifts. And the good news is we have seen a lot of ADA and other assets move off chain. So we are getting close to that moment. That's the transition that we normally see. Now, something that Angry Crypto Show posted yesterday that I do want to mention as well is that WanChain, based on ADA's Ouroboros, highlights its transaction of the week, 271,000 USDC bridged directly from Solana to Cardano. And we are starting to see liquidity leach over to the Cardano ecosystem. We obviously talked about that big spike in terms of Cardano TVL the other day. And what I found kind of weird about that is we saw that big spike take place. It's like completely erased now. So it went up, went back down right away. And it seems like there's some behind the scenes testing going on. I don't know exactly what that means. Are we prepping for obviously the midnight launch and a Glacier airdrop potentially? And obviously a lot of people need to be prepared for that. There's actually been some speculation about what the midnight market cap for Night token is going to be at launch. Some people are suggesting $10 billion. That's a pretty big number, especially day one of launch, but we'll have to obviously watch and wait and see how that goes. But something I did want to mention here and that I kind of glossed over is the setup that we have for ADA and BTC. And what we're kind of sitting at right now, again, is one of those compression zones. I know I talk about these a lot, but look at how tight this is for BTC. We're talking about huge leverage liquidations at 107, 150, and basically it beginning at 108.4. So that's very, very tight. Volatile moves in the market could cause a cascade of liquidations to take place, whether that's to the upside, to the downside. In terms of ADA, you guys can see that we have a lot of longs filling back in here, a lot of shorts filling in above here. So with the lower volume, I wouldn't expect any crazy moves. And again, with this being kind of a quiet weekend, hopefully no surprises. Because then we will be moving for sure. But while this weekend And this coming week may be quiet because there's really not a whole lot going on. The following week, things may get, we'll call it spicy in the market. Why I'm saying that is this has actually been dubbed and designated Crypto Week. So this is July 14th through the 18th. So this is actually what the U.S. House members have actually called it, because there are a lot of big things going on. So they actually have, they're trying to pass the Genius Act. They have the Clarity Act. They're also going to deliberate on the Anti-CBDC Act, or Surveillance Act. And this is obviously to prohibit the central bank from establishing a digital currency. We obviously don't want a CBDC. And obviously they did vote on, or the House Financial Services, I'm stuttering, guys. The House Financial Services Committee actually deliberated on this, and they allowed it to proceed to the House back in April on a slim vote of 27-22. So that is actually going to be a very big week for crypto legislation. Something I do want to mention that week as well that could cause a little bit of liveliness is we have a CPI report and a PPI report. So that could be a week where, again, the market gets a little bit more lively. We could be pretty quiet until then. I'm not saying we can't do anything. It's going to depend on a lot of institutional money. It's going to depend a lot on retail confidence. I will say here we have flipped bearish a lot of the daily stochastic RSIs. We're seeing this in terms of ADA, seeing this in terms of BTC. So hopefully we can get that ship righted. On the weekly for ADA, we are just below flipped here. So we could start to, again, get a little bit of momentum on the weekly stochastic RSI. Same thing on BTC. We're actually just below here. So got some work to do heading through the long, quiet weekend, and hopefully we can do it. So I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.